Hi, I'm James Regan. I'm the owner and founder of Valor Legacy Wealth. I'm an RICP, a retirement income certified professional and financial advisor here in Scottsdale, Arizona. And I've been in this industry almost 19 years. I am a fiduciary, a registered fiduciary. And I spend a lot of my time helping individuals prepare for retirement in what we call the accumulation phase. And I help a lot of individuals, vast majority of my practice, work through the retirement or decumulation phase, and that's where a lot of my expertise lies. What is something that retirees stress about that has nothing to do with money? More than one, healthcare, long-term care. Especially if a retiree has gone through a long-term care event where they've had to care for, a aging parent, that definitely puts it on their radar, of what's going to happen if I have a healthcare event like a parent that they had to care for. And those are the clients that spend a lot of time talking about long-term care, because I try to talk to clients about long-term care. Sometimes it falls on deaf ears. Some clients, or potential clients and, workshops. It's the, hey, it's not going to happen to me, right? And I think that's probably understandable in a way. Like it's just like driving a car, I'm not the guy who's getting in a car accident. It's prudent as an advisor to have that conversation with you, the client, to understand if you don't want to have long-term care. Like I got a good plan for care document in my office, and so it's a two-sider, and you're going to fill it out, and then at the end you're going to sign it, and it says, hey, I don't care to have long-term care insurance, or I feel it's too expensive, or I don't want to pay for it. You've at least kind of acknowledged that we've had the conversation, and you kind of have to go through your own iterations in your mind of what is my plan for care. So kind of back to like those who've had a care event, they're much more apt around like, what does long-term care cost? What does the policy look like? Is it a cash reimbursement, or are they sending me just a cash check? I choose how I'm going to spend it. Those kind of conversations happen more frequently in that scenario. And what I encourage people to think about around long-term care is we have a massive debt situation in this country. Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security are very stressed as they are now. And so I think one of the things that's going to happen in the future is that you don't want to end up, if you're a wealthy individual or if you saved really well, you're getting close to retirement. And when I say wealthy individual, I mean anybody who's probably saved $500,000 in investable assets, because that's who the government considers wealthy. So you're considered wealthy now. And I would look at that as, look at it as, do you want to be in control of your healthcare, or do you want your healthcare to be forced upon you? And you don't want to be in spend down. But as healthcare becomes more of something that individuals seek in retirement as they're aging, facilities get to pick and choose how many beds they have in their facility and who gets to come through those doors. If you want to be in a care facility that is, close to the lifestyle that you've lived, to live with some dignity, you're going to want to be in a position where you have the assets to pay for that. And one of the ways that if you don't have, a lot of $1 million earmarked for healthcare or long-term care, you create leverage with a long-term care policy. So you're in an empowered position, should a care event happen, that you can choose the facility that you want to be in. And so that's healthcare. That's one of them. And I mentioned legacy at the beginning. I literally had a client call me the other day, and he's talking to me about how that he could, he's about to be the beneficiary of a very substantial inheritance from his dad. And he's like, hey, how can I make sure like this child gets this and this child gets this and this, and I said, well, there's a trust. I said, you can have some provisions in that trust, and you can have a trustee kind of help guide your wishes, through the trust. I said, but it's very difficult to control from the grave. I said, it's just, it's one of those things that you can have your best intentions and the trustee can be there, and, you can do a lot of things to have your wishes guided through a trust and, some estate planning attorneys. But at some point you kind of have to just let go. Like you're not going to be able to control every dollar that gets to every beneficiary, or not get to every beneficiary from the grave. So, do your best and name your beneficiaries and decide what you want to do. But, control from the grave is a very difficult thing to do. And, when I kind of walked him through that, I was asking him why, and he's kind of telling me, well, this kid's a good kid and this kid's a degenerate and this, blah, blah, blah. Right. And so you're getting your war stories from your clients about their children. And as a father, and I've got 3 children, I get it. They're young now, so they're all still lovely and adorable. And hopefully I raise them to continue to be lovely and adorable. But I think one of those things is, when you're thinking about your legacy, people start to really want to think beyond this life. And some of it you can control and some of it you can't.